Hello friends! Oh my god, the toilet's running. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph, and if you're new here, I'm Steph. We're doing another weekly vlog. This vlog is me cramming in as many queer books as I possibly can in this week. I'm starting at a weird time, but basically it's June 1st. It is the start of Pride Month, and I want to try to squeeze in as many queer books as I possibly can. I don't really have a TBR for this video, but I do have a few books in mind that I've been wanting to get to, and now is the perfect time to read them. Summer reading has started today. And as a matter of fact, my Girls Who Code starts today, this morning. It starts at 10 this morning, and then later today we have the summer reading kickoff party, which is expected to have like 300 people, and there's going to be live music and games and crafts. I'm very excited, but I'm already very tired. So come spend the week with me, friends.
Train ride just to see you, ride for hours just to please you. You don't know how much I need you, 'cause you're my home away from home, away from home, away from being alone. I did the same just for you. You don't know how much I love you, 'cause you're my home away from home, away from home, away from being alone.
Update yesterday because I spent most of the day cleaning and reading another book for a spoilery vlog on Patreon. So I didn't really update, didn't really read anything for this vlog, but last night I ended up starting, even though I knew the end, I think that's what the full title is called, by C.L. Polk, and I finished it early this morning. It was very cute. I do think that this novella could be a series of novellas. So in this book, you're following a magic detective, this magical detective. I think they called her an augur. I don't know if it's like called a witch, but she does have kind of witchy powers, but I'm pretty sure they call her an augur. I don't know if an augur is actually the same thing as a witch. I don't know that lore. I'll have to look that up. But anyway, she is a detective and she's on this case to find this vampire who is a serial killer. And the way that she uses her magic is basically on a crime scene. She can see the past. I don't know how exactly her magic works. The thing about this being a novella is I do feel that the world building and the magic system parts of it were not as well fleshed out as I would have liked. So I didn't like fully comprehend the magic in here that well. But basically she can see the past of a crime scene, and it leads her usually to finding who did it. When she's on that crime scene, she's reunited with her brother, and you find out that she basically sold her soul many years ago to save her brother's life, and she's now being given one last opportunity to solve a crime before she spends eternity in hell. It's set in 1920s Chicago. Actually, January Lavoie narrates this audiobook, and if you don't know, January Lavoie narrated the Diviners audiobooks, which are also set in Chicago in the 1920s. So I definitely enjoyed the narration of this. There is a love story going on here. There's a sapphic romance. They're very much in love with each other. Obviously, our main character knows that she is gonna spend eternity in hell, so she kind of keeps her at an arm's distance, arm's length sometimes, because she's like, oh, well, you know, I'm gonna be dead soon. but it was super cute. I loved the sapphic romance the most out of everything. I definitely enjoyed the setting. I do think I'm falling out of love with 1920s settings, I feel, because I used to love them and seek those out in books, and now I just don't care. I kind of hope we'll get more in this world because it seems so interesting, but it reminded me so much of P. Djeli Clark's Haunting of Tram Car 10, and what is the other one called? The gin one. I looked it up. It's Tramcar 15 because I have a Master of Gin, but there's also a short story that I'm forgetting the name of the short story. I think it's called like A Haunting in Cairo or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, it is set in this world. Very much reminds me of that, even though this is 1912. Something about the vibes, very similar. It's probably the whole sapphic detective thing, if I'm honest. Set in the past. Also, I was sent a book last night. There was no note to it. I was desperately on social media like, someone tell me who sent me this. I need to thank you. And it was Christine. She sent it for me hitting 4K, which is so sweet. But she got me What My Bones Know by Stephanie Fu. This is a memoir about healing from complex trauma. And when I read the synopsis of this and realized what this author was going through, what she was writing about, I was like, oh my god, it might be really cathartic for me to read this. I just remember reading Crying in H Mart and it being a very cathartic experience for me in regards to my mom and like healing from that. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this. I don't know when I'll be in the headspace to do that, but I will be annotating this like nobody's business. But thank you so much, Christine. I love you so much. Anyway, today we're going to a concert. We're going to the Reset Festival and we are seeing Bartees Strange, which I'm so excited about. There's an artist named Dijon, which I haven't heard of, but I'm excited because I looked up some of his stuff and his set looks really cool. Chloerae and boy genius, okay? I'm so excited.
I'd give you the world like I promised I would, even though you wouldn't do the same. I'd give you the world like I promised I would, even though you wouldn't do the same. Had this conversation more than 10 times. After 9 I still wish you were mine. Haven't ate in 7 days, 'cause I've been up till 6 a.m. Wrote 5 songs all just for you. 3 of them I can't bear listening to. I'd give you the world like I promised I would, even though
Let me grab the book. So I'm rereading a psalm for the Wild Built. I'm rereading this because it is a prompt on the bingo board that some friends and I are doing on Instagram. I'll link that down below if you're interested. It's just a Pride bingo board. So one of the prompts is to reread a favorite. I really loved this when I read it like a year or 2 ago. And the second book, which I'm not sure if this is the last book in the series. I don't know if this is a duology actually. I almost confidently said it was a duology and now I'm not actually sure. But either way, I wanted to read the second one. So I'm rereading this one to move on to the second one and possibly finish a series. I don't know. I'm like maybe 15% into this, quarter into this. And again, I love it. It's definitely about having that like midlife crisis, I guess, or quarter life crisis, where you realize that all of the things that maybe you were working towards aren't what you want and you need change, and like maybe the world is moving a little too fast for you and maybe you don't need to pursue that career that's going to take over your entire life. Like maybe you can live your life enjoying things and that can also be enough. There's just something about Becky Chambers' writing that like, I love it. It just gets to me. It's so good. The Long Way to a Smaller Planet and A Closed and Common Orbit are the 2 that I've read from the Wayfarers Quartet. and I absolutely love them. I need to finish it. I should have put it on my TBR for this month. I love that quartet. I love her writing. There's just something so optimistic about it while also touching on societal issues, and everything is so casually queer. But I wanted to talk about this because I obviously wanted to update you on what I was reading. But I'm at a part where Dex has basically decided that they want to pursue a different career path, and they decide to become a tea monk. And basically a tea monk is somebody who brews up the right teas for people's ailments, not like sickly ailments, but like, I don't know, the first person that Dex encounters, they lost their cat and they felt like their cat was the last tying bond to their current relationship, and they think that this relationship is basically going to fizzle out and they're going to move on to other people. So in that circumstance, Dex should have brewed up a tea that would be like calming while listening to people's problems. It's basically like therapy, but there's tea involved, and it's supposed to be really cathartic and relaxing, whatever. But this is Dex's first time ever doing it, and in the middle of it, they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. How did I get this job? How did I get here? And it was so relatable because I feel like, you know, 2 years ago, I got my first big girl job. I'm now working in an office and writing proposals for grants. Like, why are people giving me money? And I definitely still 2 years into it, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Do people know what they're doing? Are people supposed to know what they're doing in their job? Because every day it's a roller coaster. There's something new. It's not always exciting. Sometimes it's really overwhelming. Anyway, I feel like this was perfectly captured with Dex trying to interact with this customer and being like, I don't know how to help you. Also, I forgot chairs. So yeah, I'm really loving this. I'm very much looking forward to getting to this one. Also, last night we went to a concert. We got to see Barty Strange, Dijon, Clairo, and Boy Genius. And I have actually not listened to Dijon before, but his stuff was really cool. But like Bartice, Clairo, and Boy Genius, amazing. I already had a huge crush on Julian Baker from Boy Genius, and watching her in concert, she is a fucking rock star. Love her. Even more obsessed. Anyway, I got this shirt. Anyway, I'm gonna make lunch and keep reading because I am not gonna do anything today. I'm very tired. Good morning. I'm so tired. I'm so tired this weekend. It's actually Monday now. Anyway, I'm behind on most things except for reading. And you didn't come here to hear me complain. You came here because I'm reading things. I finished my reread of A Psalm for the Wild Built, and then I finished reading A Prayer for the Crown Shy. These are so sweet. They're so Becky Chambers. There's not much to say in terms of plot because this isn't a plot heavy book. This is very much about characters finding themselves and finding their way in the world and realizing that like maybe their career doesn't have to define who they are as people, and that, you know, being known for something doesn't always have to be the end all be all. Like, what would it mean if you just lived a really soft life full of things you love? It's just this discussion on taking it slow and being okay with where you're at in life and where you're going in life, and that like maybe you don't have to define yourself by these specific things or hitting these specific milestones. And I think it's really important to hear. I think a lot of millennials will want to hear this. A lot of millennials will need to hear this, I guess, and it's probably why it was written. It's just like a warm little hug or a cozy cup of tea, which is what Dex does. They're a tea monk. So for the little synopsis of this, basically you have Dex, who is a tea monk, but that's not what they always had done. They decided that they wanted to leave the path that they were on and become a tea monk, and through doing that they end up meeting Mosscap, who is a robot. And the history of robots in this world is essentially they made robots to replace humans in factories and in most jobs, and the robots decided that they didn't want to do that anymore. They had this moment of autonomy and decided to take to the forests, and so their whole purpose in life at this point is to become interested in something they're passionate about and spend time doing that and then moving on to the next thing. And they live very quiet, soft lives. So Mosscap is very enthusiastic about bugs, very enthusiastic about learning about bugs, and Mosscap tells Dex all about the different things that different robots are interested in doing. Some of them observe animals, fungi, but Mosscap also teaches Dex that it's okay to live a soft and quiet life, that not everybody is aware of everything you're doing all the time, but also that like aging and getting older is just the process of life, and it's the process of what you have to go through as a robot or a human. And it's just really beautiful. Their relationship is very beautiful, and I think the messages in here, while maybe on the nose, are like a warm hug. You know, I think sometimes you need that, and this duology definitely does that. I'm pretty sure it's a duology. Based on the way this ended, it feels like a duology, but there could be more in here as well. I don't really know. Had a great time. I'm giving both of these 4 stars. It's actually really funny. Apparently I have a theme in this vlog that I didn't anticipate. I was just picking up queer books I was in the mood for, but now I really want to read the next 2 installments in the Way for Children series. So at this point we're just reading novellas. I could think of 2 more novellas that I could read. Anyway, I'm gonna start with In an Absent Dream. This is the 4th installment in the Wayward Children's series. I am not gonna lie to you, I did not finish Beneath the Sugar Sky. I just can't. I don't like it. So I DNF'd that one, and I just decided I'm gonna move forward. Maybe I'll revisit it at a different time, but I just can't. Anyway, I'm very excited about this one. This is about the Goblin Market. Hello, I'm putting together a snack for work, and these, so good. Also, dried pineapple, so good. Like who dare? Except the ones that have added sugar. Why do you put sugar on it? It's already sweet enough. It's already delicious. Also, another snack update. Health Aid Kombucha, Pink Lady Apple, the only one that I really like. But the other day I also bought the tangerine Kavita. I loved the coconut lime one so much, and I was looking for it the other day and they were sold out because it's so delicious. So I got the tangerine one because I love tangerines. So I'm just hoping this tastes like orange soda, honestly. I really want it to taste like orange soda. Anyway, that's the snack update. If you want to know reading wise where I'm at, I am 10% into In an Absent Dream. Definitely my favorite. I can relate as a goblin. This book was made for me and the little goblin that I am. So I'm gonna go to work. And I forgot to charge my phone last night, so my phone's gonna die. I did not look at myself in the mirror before filming this clip. I didn't realize how crazy my hair was. Anyway, good morning. I feel like I haven't really been talking much in this vlog because there's been so much going on. Despite being busy, I have been reading a lot. There's been a lot of like me needing to get paperwork together and like write up things, so I've had time to like listen to my audiobook. So that's been really nice because I did finish In an Absent Dream, and this by far is my favorite of the Wayward Children series. I mean, I think like most people, I was very curious about Lundy's story, so I was excited to get her story in here. I love the Goblin Market. The Goblin Market in here was so cool. Like the fair value of everything. I don't know. The Goblin Market was just like very cool. It was what I wanted. I'm a huge fan of goblins and goblin markets. I think the only reason this isn't like a glowing 5 stars for me is because there are some time skips where we miss really pivotal parts and we only get like the aftermath of it. So like it was a little bit jarring, and every time that would happen I would feel confused for a few pages, and then I would realize like, oh, we didn't witness this. This was something before that we're now getting the information for. So that was a little jarring. However, I understand the need to tell a story in such a way when it is this short. But if you don't know anything about the Wayward Children series, basically the first book in the series is called Every Heart a Doorway, and you are introduced to the school for wayward children, and these children have found doors or portals to other worlds, and at some point they lived there for a significant amount of time and got kicked out, and now they are trying to adjust to living in the real world again. In that first book, you're mainly following Nancy, but you're also being introduced to the key players in this series. So you're introduced to like 10 different characters, and those characters are characters you're following throughout the series. So if I remember correctly, odd number books in this series are all at the Wayward School for Children, and the even number books in this series are all in an actual world that somebody has gone into. So for example, this is the 4th one, and you get to go into the Goblin Market and learn about Lundy's story. Lundy is someone that you meet in the first book, and her story was something I was really interested in from the beginning. I think her and Cade were the 2 people that I really wanted to know, like, how did they get to this point? How did they get to the School of Wayward Children? What happened to them? I think the majority of people like this one. I know that like a favorite is Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which is Jack and Jill's story. And I also think Where the Drowned Girls Go got really great reviews from everybody. But for the most part, like I just have so much fun reading these. They're not my favorite things in the world. Like it's not my favorite series in the world. But for the most part, I just have so much fun reading these. Like they're great escapism books. And there's so many books in this series, and technically you can read them as companions, but I like reading them in order. I do think that there is something to be gained from reading them in order, although I did DNF the 3rd one because I just couldn't. Oh, because that's the other thing. There's different types of worlds. There's like logic worlds and nonsense worlds, and the 3rd book we were in a nonsense world for a time. I don't like nonsense worlds. I seem to vibe with the logic worlds the most. Anyway, I'm glad that I'm finally getting back into this. And now I have read, I'm 3 chapters into Come Tumbling Down. This is once again at the Wayward School, and we are following kind of the aftermath of Beneath the Sugar Sky. Anyway, I'll update you when I finish. Hi, how are ya? How you doing? Me, I'm overwhelmed. I'm really overwhelmed, but we're not gonna get into that. I feel like I've talked about work a little too much in this vlog. But the reason we're here, the reason we're gathered here today is because I finished Come Tumbling Down. I finished this on the way home. I was much further into it than I thought this morning because I didn't really have a lot of downtime today. But somehow I finished it like between talking to you, going to a meeting, driving from that meeting back to work, and then driving home from work, I finished it. So yeah, that's cool. I don't know what to rate this actually. I think it's a 4 stars. I feel like it's a 4 stars, maybe 3.5. I wasn't as enamored with this story as I thought that I was going to be because I really like the Moors. But I do feel like this almost set up Where the Drowned Girls Go, which I'm assuming that it's going to be following the character we meet in here named... starts with a C. What is her name? Her name's Cora. I feel like it was such a setup for her story, her future story, which I think I'm assuming, I haven't looked into it, is going to be where the drowned girls go, because they mention that name a lot. There's a whole situation that plays out here where she's involved, and she was much more of a prevalent character in here than I was expecting or anticipating, because we've never met her before. Well, okay, I say that, but I DNF'd the third one, so we may have met her in the third one. Funny thing about DNFing the third one is I did miss like a pivotal plot thing that happens, which it's whatever. It was like a fun surprise. I was a little bit confused for a second, and then they immediately explain it. So that was a fun little surprise. I do feel like people say you could read these as standalones, which, like, yes, but also things do connect. There is a huge benefit to reading them in order. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I think the only time it like doesn't really matter is when you're actually going into the world with a character. So for example, in An Absent Dream, I feel like you could pick that one up and it's a nice little standalone story. But if you already have investment in Lundy by meeting her in the first book, that story is a little bit more meaningful, you know? I feel like it's a lot more meaningful to read that story based on the first book. Although I'm very curious, because a lot of people do not like the Across the Green Grass Field or something like that, and they say it's a horse girl story. I feel like I'm gonna thrive in that one. I feel like I'm gonna thrive with that horse girl story. So I'm kind of like, should I keep moving on with the series? Because I have all of them. I think I have all of them except for the very last one. Should I keep going? No, I'm not going to. Only because there is a book by an author that recently came out. It's Lee Mandello. He wrote Summer Sons, and Summer Sons was like a love letter to the Dream Thieves. And you may or may not know this about me, but I love the Raven Cycle, and I specifically love the Dream Thieves. It's my favorite book of the series. And Summer Sons was like a love letter, maybe even you could say fan fiction, of the Dream Thieves. Now, was it the 5-star favorite of all time read that I thought it was gonna be? No, but I really enjoyed it. So when I saw the novella, I said, I need her, and that's what I'm gonna read. So yeah, I'm gonna read that next. And if I, by some miracle, like finish that today, because it's a 4-hour audiobook, if by some miracle I do finish that today, even early tomorrow, I will potentially read the next book in this series. Wrong way, which I'm not remembering right now which one that is. Is it where the drowned girls go? I'll go upstairs and look, but yeah, four stars, maybe 3.5, but I'm gonna round up to a 4 stars because I really love the Moors. And it was just nice to see these characters again. I love Cade so much. Hello, we're in my room and I'm looking at the books, and apparently Across the Green Grass Fields is next. And look who got this for me. The one, the only, Heather. Thank you so much. She also got me this one. Heather. I know this is one of her favorite series of all time, so I'm excited. But yeah, apparently Horse Girl 1 is next. So if I manage to finish this other novella, then it's Horse Girl time. Hello, I just got back from book shopping with Christine. I left my book downstairs, so I'll show you later. But I wanted to update because I'm listening to Feed Them Silence by Lee Mandello. I talked about this yesterday, but I didn't update you that I started. I was immediately sucked in. I was immediately obsessed with it, and I still am obsessed with it. I have like 40 minutes, maybe 50 minutes left of the audiobook. I'm 70% in and obsessed. I don't really know what to compare this to, but I saw that Kayla from Books and Lala actually recently read this, and she compared it to Our Wives Under the Sea, which I can totally see that aspect of it. I definitely can see that. And Once There Were Wolves, which I have not finished yet. And so I'm gonna trust her comparisons. But basically we're following our main character Sean, and Sean is a scientist, and she has taken on this project of getting money so that they can perform this surgery and this observation of wolves in the wild. And the surgery entails that Sean is going to connect her brain to the brain of a wolf so that she can understand their hunting patterns, their mating patterns, and possibly be able to save the ecosystem in some way by being able to understand what's affecting wolves and like why populations are dying out. The thing is, there's two sides to this. There are people that are protesting the idea of linking your brain to a wolf's because they would have to do surgery on the wolf, they have to do surgery on Sean, and a lot of people think it's inhumane, so they're protesting this whole experiment. But secondly, we're seeing that Sean is like feeding into her obsession, and it seems to get worse as the book goes on. And so it's really affecting her marriage and her relationship with her wife. And you've already kind of seen in the very beginning that her and her wife have sort of a disconnected relationship because Sean seems to not know how to connect with her emotions very well, and therefore like is emotionally unavailable for her wife. And you see this is a problem they're struggling with in their relationship generally, but now that Sean has taken on this project, it's potentially getting worse. It's just so good. I'm excited to see how it ends. I came downstairs to show you the books that I got. Well, actually, I bought one of them, and then Aden surprised me with a package from Amazon, but I had opened it because I thought it was something else, so I didn't get to open it on camera. But he got me Book Lovers! I'm so excited. I can't wait to dive into this one. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm very excited, and Aden's note was so sweet. He also got me, which I opened already, some more tabs. I love these tabs. Somebody mentioned that they thought these tabs sucked. I don't really have a problem with them. I don't know. I don't have much of an issue with them. They stick in my books and stuff. I'm not necessarily highly recommending them, but I like them and I love the colors. And then today with Christine, I ended up getting The Whispers, which is Ashleigh Audrain's sophomore novel. And I'm so excited. If you don't know, Ashleigh Audrain wrote The Push, and it was one of my favorite books last year. So I'm very, very excited to read this one. I don't even remember what it's about, if I'm honest with you. I don't. It seems like it's another domestic, like, thriller-y one, but it says exploring envy, women's friendship, desire, and the intuitions that we silence. The Whispers is a chilling novel that marks Ashleigh Audrain as a major fiction talent. I hope I like this because it was expensive, if I'm honest with you. It was quite expensive. Anyway, that's the little book haul. I have not finished my book, so I'll update you when I finish. Hello. So I finished Feed Them Silence, and I regret to inform you that something I thought would be like 4, 5 stars turned out to be 3.5. I'll probably round it up to 4 stars on Goodreads, but the ending just didn't land. I was definitely expecting it to go into a different place, and it just didn't. And that's fine. Like, a book doesn't have to end how I expect it to end, but I just think it would have been such a strong and fun ending had it gone where I thought it was going to. I don't know. I felt like we were building up to something and it didn't happen. I still think the comparison to Our Wives Under the Sea is accurate, but keep in mind, I gave Our Wives Under the Sea 5 stars. It was very weird. The prose was amazing. Like, the way that it ended was just so great. Like, it was so good. So I think the comparison is true in the sense that there is this sapphic relationship. Their marriage is crumbling, and it's having to do with the job that their partner took. And I suppose the job itself is similar in the sense that there's this observation of wildlife. Do I think you should go into this expecting Our Wives Under the Sea? No. They are not the same. That being said, I still really enjoyed this. I still enjoyed the prose. I was immediately sucked in. When I first updated you, when I was like at the 70% mark, I was like, yes, I'm loving this. But the ending just kind of made it fall flat. So there's that. Thank you for spending a little over a week with me here in this vlog. I hope your week is going well. I hope your Pride Month is going well. I hope reading for Pride is going well. I hope that you are reading so many amazing queer books. And if you would like to, if you have nothing to say, you can leave a wolf emoji down below, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.